Now, I love reviewing discs, don't get me wrong, but there are some discs that are more difficult for me to review than others. Not that I don't enjoy reviewing them, it's just more difficult for me to make that video. Now with this video, we're talking about the new Finish Line Torque, and while this disc specifically is not a bad disc, it's a great disc, these kind of discs are just difficult for me to talk about. Let me explain. Now what I'm mainly talking about are like more overstable, like power players discs. And a big reason is because it's just hard for me to throw them. Now it's not quite as simple as overstable discs are hard for me to review. While that might be kind of the case, it's not the full story of it, because it's not difficult for me to review like overstable approach disc, or like the archive review I just came out with as an overstable mid-range, not too difficult for me to review. But it's more discs that like my game is not totally suited for. So like this Torque that's coming out, this releases on Wednesday, by the way. I would describe this like an overstable like Eagle or very overstable T-Bird, but it doesn't quite have the overstability of something like a Firebird would. So this is definitely suited for like a more powerful arm, or if you want something that's just a little bit shorter than those as well. Because I think this is listed as like an 8-speed, but I would say it's, yeah, close to an 8 or 7 speed. It's not a fast fairway driver. Like in terms of stability, I would put this up against like a Brinster style T-Bird, or even the new C-Line FD1 from Discmania. I'd put this up there with that. Now the rim is a lot deeper than those. It might be a touch wider than them, but it definitely has a deeper rim. It feels a lot bigger in your hand, but that's kind of like the slot that this would fit in. That like stable fairway, but like very stable, very overstable before getting to Firebirds. Now these discs aren't bad by any means. I like to say that there are really no bad discs out there. They're just bad discs for you and your game. Like I have been absolutely loving these Craves that I got. They're workable. I can throw them on a hyzer and get them to fly straight. I can make them hyzer if I want to, or I can have them Annie. These have quickly become my go-to and favorite driver. And that's also why I absolutely raved about the Era. This is such a great like finesse type driver. It's a control driver, but I think it would be great for like your first dabble into like faster distance drivers, and it's very like effortless to throw. And even when I get to my more overstable or more stable side of fairway drivers, I really like not crazy overstable stuff. So like the Evader, for example, this is not super stable. In wind, it'll like hyzer flip and just ride on a rope, which I really like that. And it seems to get me effortless distance on that stable line and push forward. And those are the kind of discs that I bag that I really like. I would rather manipulate the disc a little bit more when it comes to wind than having to rip on and put enough power into more overstable discs. And that's why I say like there's not really any bad discs, just maybe bad discs for you and your game. Some people's game, the Evader is not a great disc. For me, it's one of the best fairway drivers on the market. For me, this Torque, it's all right. But for some people, like if you have a beautiful power forehand like Broderick, this is awesome for him. Watching those few throws he had with this, it was great. It just doesn't fit my game and just makes it a little bit harder for me to give you my thoughts. That's why I love disc golf, and that's kind of why I started this channel, because there's so many discs out there and they fit so many different people's games. And yeah, it's all about finding what fits your game best. Now I do love what Finish Line is doing. We actually got a restock of all the Finish Line stuff on the site, and these come out later this week. And while the Torque might not fit great in my game, I still absolutely love the Era, and that new Rally, that looks sick. So I'll have to be checking that one out next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.